Hello everyone, it's Arthur back with another NFL video. In this video, I'll be giving my NFC West division predictions and deep dive into each team. So let's get into it. At fourth place, I have the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are viewed as the worst team in the division and one of the worst teams in the league by most. They're probably rebuilding at this point. They have Jonathan Gannon. I know of course he's coming off a pretty bad Super Bowl performance, but as a defensive coordinator, but he's still a good defensive coach. Now, I'm not sure how he'll be as a head coach. Of course, he's a rookie head coach, first time ever head coaching in the league. We'll see how that goes. But now for the roster, it's pretty clear that they're in a really bad spot. I mean, Kyler Murray's out and injured. They're going to start either Colt McCoy or Clayton Tune probably. Probably not Clayton Tune right away because, Colt McCoy is a veteran, but Clayton Tune at least has some upside. Colt McCoy is like a guy who's like somehow in the league still. That's not going to be very good quarterback play until Kyler Murray gets back. And, who knows how late he actually doesn't get back. Maybe, it keeps getting pushed back, and then maybe he's out for the whole year because, you don't want to play the guy for, let's say like 3 games when, your season is probably over, even a long time before that at that point. As for the weapons at running back, you have James Conner, and that's pretty much it, like for guys I actually see being productive. Like Corey Clement hasn't done anything in the league in like very long time. Tyson Williams was like okay with the Ravens in the absence of Dobbins in 2021, and Gus Edwards. But James Conner last year kind of proved me a little bit wrong because in 2021 he got a lot of touchdowns, but the yards per carry not as good. He was more of a 1 yard line, let's say inside the 5 goal to goal situations. The guy who punches it in, but he actually showed some better running last year. His yards per carry, but of course the touchdown numbers did go down as expected. He's solid. Now for the rest of their weapons, of course, number Hopkins, they cut him. That's what a rebuilding team does. Also would have been tough to find a trade, so that's what happened. And then Marquise Brown in here, Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, and they also drafted Michael Wilson. I think Michael Wilson will probably be solid. He's kind of a late riser in the draft. Maybe not late, but let's say last couple months. Rondale Moore is a solid player. His upside I don't think is like very high, but he can be more productive than he has been in the league, so he could take a little bit of a step up. And then Marquise Brown, he's not really receiver one. With the Ravens, he didn't really have to be because their number 1 option is running in, number 2 is Mark Andrews, but with the Cardinals, he didn't really show he's an actual receiver 1 to take the place of Hopkins, who was the receiver 1. But they also have Greg Dortch, who was a solid, you can call him a breakout player almost last year. Came out and had a nice year. But then at tight end, Zach Ertz, paid him a lot of money. He's getting up there in age, but I'm not sure how much he'll actually still do, like how much he still has left in him. But of course, he used to be very good. And even with the Cardinals, he was not that bad last year. They also have Trey McBride, a nice tight end I like as well, out of last year's class. Now for their offensive line, though, you see at left tackle they have listed DJ Humphries, according to ESPN. So Paris Johnson, where will he start? I think he'll be a tackle in the league. Just right now, he's listed as a guard. Probably won't be for long term because their tackles are Kelvin Beachum and DJ Humphries. 2 guys who have been holding it down for the Cardinals for a while, but definitely you can improve from that. And Paris Johnson Jr. could be that guy. Of course, drafted number 6 overall. I think he's not like his upside is definitely worthy of the pick. It's just that he still has a lot to improve with his technique, and pass protection. But I do see the upside and he also the athletic ability, and then also Will Hernandez there at right guard. Pretty much the same thing, He can hold it down, but you want to look to improve there in the future. They did draft John Gaines II out of UCLA. Maybe that's a guy who wants it, who can do that for them. And their center, I don't know who that is, so I apologize. Now, for the Cardinals offense as a whole, it's an offense that, it's going to definitely miss production with, whoever quarterback is playing, if it's not Kyler Murray. And even if they had Kyler Murray, it wouldn't be the greatest. Yeah, his legs would help, but, your weapons are kind of, you're hoping for more from them, and your offensive line is maybe middle of the pack, maybe let's say in the 20s, early 20s, if you were to rank them in the NFL. But the offense overall, Marquise Brown, can he be a wide receiver 1? Rondale Moore, can he still take a little bit of a step up? And, I guess if you really want to look at the development of Clayton Tune, what can he do, maybe as a future option? I mean, anyway, they have Kyler Murray in a long-term deal, but we'll see what happens. And as for defense, along the defensive line, they have a guy who might start this year, who I liked last year, Myjai Sanders out of Cincinnati. I think he'll get more burn this year, as well as Cameron Thomas, in the, retiring of J.J. Watt. they can get some more, action because they didn't really get anyone. At D tackle, they have Rashard Lawrence and Lee Fotu, as well as Carlos Watkins from the, I believe, Cowboys. But the D line is lacking a lot. It looks like they won't do very good against the run. Rashard Lawrence is a pretty solid run-stopping nose tackle, but besides that, they're not going to be very good against the run. I'm not sure how much pressure they'll really get. Now, linebacker, they do have Zaven Collins. They do no longer, technically, I guess, have Simmons there, Isaiah Simmons, because he's kind of a safety now. But, they also drafted Owen Popo out of Auburn, all-athlete. He has experience. He's been at Auburn since, 2019, but just, not really great at playing a linebacker position, but he is a good athlete. You also did draft B.J. Ojulari, who could play more of a edge role, maybe outside linebacker, and then also another linebacker in there, Kaiser White. Jonathan Gannon brings over one of his guys on a 2-year deal, so that's pretty much the front 7. They also brought in LJ Collier, but we know he's been a bust with the Seattle Seahawks. Now on the secondary, they have Rashard Fenton, who they got from the Falcons after he got traded from the Chiefs. They have Marco Wilson on the other side. So that's already probably not that good of a duo. At safety, you do have a pretty solid duo in Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker. Budda Baker did request a trade, but not sure if that's actually going to go through. And then, other guys in there, I guess, as well in the secondary. You did draft Garrett Williams. You did draft Trell Clark out of Louisville. But, Garrett Williams could look at play maybe in the slot. Still is coming off a pretty big injury, so we'll have to see. The Arizona Cardinals defense overall is lacking a lot of talent, obviously. Their D-line won't be very productive. Their secondary will not be very productive. Overall, Gannon, he's not going to be set up in a good situation with the defense he just came into. And number 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams. They lack a lot of talent now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's what we'll get into. But, still have Sean McVay as their head coach. That's going to, of course, be still he's going to bring some consistency there, at least with his own coaching. He's still a great young line in the league. But now at quarterback, Matthew Stafford, coming off a bad year that which he also battled injury in. Now the question is, was he bad because of the injury? Because the elbow injury. But if he was, okay, cool, he might go back to his 2021 form. If not, you're stuck in a bad spot. The veteran who's not doing very good. You have no other really options. Stetson Bennett should have gone undrafted. He went in the 4th round. Whatever, I guess, wasted pick in my opinion. But if you wanted a backup quarterback, there's so many options that are better. O'Connell was better, Clayton Tune might have been there. I don't think he was, but DTR was there. There are better options. I think they wasted their pick there. I don't think he's a long-term option, maybe a long-term backup. But then getting to running back, Cam Akers, late last year showed some nice burst, but he did have a big injury, Achilles tear in 2021. Hasn't really lived up to the hype he had as a second-round pick. He can still be productive though. But it's going to be hard behind the offensive line, which we'll get into as well. Also, Kyron Williams, I hope he does get some burn because he was really good at Notre Dame. So maybe they use him over Sonny Michel, who they brought back on a second stint. Now at receiver, Cooper Kupp, when he's healthy, he'll be dominant, even if Matthew Stafford isn't playing well. Because if he isn't, he'll definitely be looking at Cooper Kupp. Even if he is playing well, most of the work will go to Cooper Kupp, being such a dominant receiver. Still last year, man, he was on pace to have, I think, 1,600 yards, maybe even more than that. So would have been dominant. Van Jefferson, I kind of like. Ben Skowronek is kind of a guy who got forced into a role because, of their injuries. Al Robinson wasn't playing that well either. So he kind of got some more time. And then, Puka Nacua is kind of a guy I said I liked in the draft. They got him in the 5th round, Demarcus Robinson as well from the Ravens. Their weapons don't look that good. Tyler Higbee is just all tight end. The weapons don't look that good. Cooper Kupp probably will be very good, but it's just, not much besides him. And then the offensive line was really bad last year. Doesn't look that good this year. Joe Nopalm at left tackle. Rob Havenstein still at right tackle. He's okay, I guess. Brian Allen at center. Steve Avila at left guard, though, is an upgrade. He's a solid guard. They also have Logan Bruss, who could start, but also might not. He was, I think a 3rd-round pick last year out of Wisconsin. So the Rams offense overall is going to struggle, I think, personally. Still a big question mark with Stafford coming off of a not good year. Cooper Kupp will be very good. Cam Akers could be very good. And then besides that, who's really going to do anything? Even if the weapons can, be better, it's going to be harder for, Stafford because the offensive line is still not very good. Now going over to their defense, which looks completely depleted. You have Aaron Donald right there. That's great, but so many young pieces that aren't very good. They drafted Kobe Turner. They drafted Byron Young out of Tennessee. They also got, I think, Nick Hampton. A lot of guys that could rush the passer as well. But some of these guys aren't really good enough to start right away, but they're not, team with not very good depth at the position, so they probably will have to, like Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Nick Hampton. None of those guys should ever start like right away. But the Rams need that around. Besides Donald, they have nothing really given. So a lot of guys that I guess have potential at linebacker. You have Ernest Jones. He's still okay, I guess. But not much else at linebacker really. You drafted O'Shawn Mathis out of Nebraska, more of an outside linebacker type of guy. Michael Howitt, I think plays on line of scrimmage. And then in the secondary, it looks pretty, beat up. Jordan Fuller is like an okay safety, but Russ East at safety. Corner, you have Kobe Durant, Robert Rochelle. You do have Travis Hodges Tomlinson, like he's a slot only guy. Darion Kendrick played a lot last year actually. You do have Jason Taylor II and Quentin Lake as your third and fourth safeties. Could be solid. You also do have Quindell Johnson as your fifth safety out of Memphis, who was a solid, okay prospect himself, but the secondary looks really bad. The defense looks really bad. I mean, the amount of talent they lost, and they didn't really get much back. Now, they had a lot of draft picks. I mean, seriously, watching the draft, especially in day 3, I feel like the Rams are picking every, 2 picks, and they took someone, frequently, obviously, but the defense does not look very good. Besides Donald, who will hold it down, didn't really have anyone right now that I'm like, okay, that's good. Maybe Ernest Jones is their second best defensive player. But they have guys who are young, who have upside. Maybe could develop them. I have them over the Cardinals because of McVay, and because I know their offense will be better than the Cardinals' offense. And it's not like the Arizona defense is anything special either. So that's why I have the Rams at 3 and the Cardinals at 4. Now at 2 I have the Seattle Seahawks. With how good they were in the draft, I kind of did think about putting them at number 1. Not like actually considering them, but they're a very good team. The Niners are a very good team as well, one of the best in the league, but the Seahawks are not very far behind them. I think they did close the gap, in this offseason, but still at number 2 behind the Niners. I'm not getting to their offense. Geno Smith at quarterback. Will he be that good again? I really don't know about that. But, I mean, it was a crazy year last year. Really good, completion percentage the whole year. A lot of yards as well. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet should make a pretty good run game. I like Charbonnet at UCLA. They're both good backs, powerful backs. Walker probably a little more dynamic, but Charbonnet can catch the ball a little bit better. They'll have a good running game. Now, their weapons, I mean, Metcalf, JSN, Lockett, that's really good 3 guys. Don't have much, proven guys behind that. D. Eskridge might be the receiver 4. It's not really a good sign, but they do have those 3 top 3 guys that are maybe the best receiver trio in the league, up there with the Bengals. Smith and Jigba, I think, will be good, and probably right away as well out of the slot. And then Noah Fant, Will Dissly, okay tight end duo. I thought Noah Fant would do more last year. I mean, the passing offense was so good, but Noah Fant wasn't really a part of that. Then their offensive line, really good left tackle and right tackle duo in Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas. And then the interior is not bad either. They have Damian Lewis, they have Evan Brown and Phil Hayes. They also drafted Anthony Bradford at guard. He could be a starter down the road. And then also at center, I'm not going to try and pronounce the name, but he is out of Michigan and a rookie as well. Overall, for the Seahawks offense, they should be a very hard-to-stop offense. They should be a good offense and dynamic, as they already were. Good run game, weapons, offensive line, improved, they could have used that earlier in the decade, or, 5 years ago, they could have used that. But now their offensive line is good, and their weapons are also good. Geno Smith set up to have another good year, so we'll see how he does. Then for the Seahawks defense, they have I think a good defense, a lot of improvement through the draft as well, and I see pretty good depth built here as well. So on the D line, Draymond Jones got a big deal as he was expected to. He's kind of more of a pass rush only guy, which is kind of weird at D tackle, but still productive. And then Brian Moon, Jaron Reed, who they brought back on a second stint. Darrell Taylor is kind of a young guy I liked, but they also drafted Derek Hall in the second round. I thought that was a solid pick. I know some people thought it was kind of a reach, but I liked it. Mike Morris out of Michigan, Cameron Young out of Mississippi State, more of a run stopper. Of course, they want to improve that, run stopping. They want to get better at that. They also, they didn't bring back Putting Ford, who was kind of their big guy who was supposed to do that. And then Mario Edwards Jr. in here as well. So, I think it's all D-line. Derek Hall, it's a guy who will rotate in and out. Eventually could be a starter. But, Draymond Jones, you expect to be good for you. And Brian Moon and Jaron Reed, as well as Cameron Young as a rookie, should help you be hopefully better in the run game. Then a linebacker, they didn't really have much, But then again, the Seahawks don't really do that. They usually have 2 inside linebackers at a time. Now, who will take over while Jordan Brooks is down for almost a whole year? We'll have to see. Maybe it's Devin Bush, who was like, let's be honest, not worth the first round pick that he was selected as by the Steelers. But he was okay with the Steelers. And Bobby Wagner back on I believe, 1-year deal on his second stint, obviously. So he was still good last year, very productive on a pretty bad defense overall with the Rams. But that's pretty much that simple for the linebackers. The secondary, also the Uchenna Nwosu is like more of a pass rushing guy, but he actually was pretty good last year as a pass rusher, productive. Now the secondary, they did have Mike Jackson starting there last year. He was okay, but like a guy like you want him to be more of a rotating guy, not a corner 2. But Witherspoon now could be the corner 1, but probably Tariq Woolen of course had a great year, but you also have the 5th overall pick. That's a very good duo. I think Witherspoon is a very good prospect. Not the best athlete. He was still a solid athlete, not the best, but his read and react and awareness and route recognition really made him really like tough to get separation on and complete the pass on as I did scouting report on him. Pretty late in the process, but he was a really fun watch. And then as safety, Jamal Adams back. He missed almost the entire year and played less than 1 game. Quandre Diggs, of course, that's a good safety right there. They also do have Julian Love, who is going to be more of a coverage guy, of course, but can also play all over the field. A lot of production last year and 2021, making his best 2 years in the league. So I like this. Also, they have Kobe Bryant, but like he was pretty bad last year, but pretty good secondary, pretty good defense all around. I like their D-line. Hopefully for them, they'll be better against the run, but they definitely will get pressure on their linebackers. Don't need much. You have Bobby Wagner up the middle. That's what they had the last 10 years already, besides the last year. And the secondary is looking pretty good, man. Tariq Woolen, of course, great player, almost won the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Some say he should have won it, but Witherspoon in there as well. Pretty good stuff. And then Jamal Adams, even if he doesn't play well, you have Julian Love, who I like. And, of course, Quandre Diggs is the Pro Bowl safety. And now for my number 1 team is the San Francisco 49ers, obviously, with, first of all, quarterback question marks. Is it Brock Purdy? Is it Sam Darnold? Is it Trey Lance? Me personally, definitely shouldn't be Sam Darnold. And then Brock Purdy, to me, isn't that good. The thing is, though, it's kind of like out of pocket for what the Niners usually do. Like, they're a system-friendly team, right, for their quarterback, with Kyle Shanahan's system. So, that's what Sam Darnold is. They brought him in on a 1-year deal. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. Jimmy Garoppolo sure was a guy that they paid, but, he wasn't the greatest guy. They just had a good run game and, weapons and defense. But then Trey Lance was the 3rd overall pick. They traded 2 first-round picks to get to the spot to draft him. So it's kind of like out of pocket because you have these 2 guys who are kind of like the system guys. Then you have a guy that they swung the fences on. Who will they start? Because you can start Brock Purdy and have a good offense. You can start Trey Lance and he is a bust and he brings your offense down a little bit, or he is a very good quarterback as he had the potential to be and athleticism to be and size to be as a prospect. But then it's like, yeah, he's good, but it's like you don't really need him to be good because of course it'd be better, but like they're a system friendly team for a quarterback. The quarterback doesn't have to be very good. All around they're very talented. So I don't know what they'll do there. I would start Trey Lance. Brock Purdy, cool, he had his insanity run, but Sam Darnold would be a quarterback 3 for me. And then Trey Lance, I would start and see what I have in him. You would, pretty much be, admitting you messed up your 3rd overall pick and 2 first-round picks you traded to get him, or to the 3rd overall pick. But I would start Trey Lance. Purdy is even healthy is also a question, but now their weapons, stacked. Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, Ty Davis-Price, 4 running backs. Now also out of pocket. They usually do a running back by committee, and then they traded for Christian McCaffrey and it's $16 million a year contract, which defies running back by committee. But very good weapon. He so far has been worth the payday, which of course is a question mark when it comes down to these running backs. And then wide receiver Deebo Samuel took a step down last year, but then Brandon Ayuk took a step up. Lost 1 win there, I guess. Danny Gray is like the receiver 4. They got Ronnie Bell late. They got Daz Newsome, I guess, off waivers. I thought he was a solid prospect, but didn't do much in the league so far, at least. Juwan Jennings is like a big receiver type. He's all right. George Kittle, Cameron Lawton, they drafted. I thought it was too early for him, but the Niners make sense for him to go to that team. He was okay at Bama with Bryce Young. I don't think he'll do much in the league as a receiver, but of course he won't be starting on the Niners. The offensive line is pretty good. They now have new right tackle with Michael Vinci leaving, Colton McKivitz, and also Spencer Burford playing some right guard. He could play right tackle, I believe, though. I'm not sure. They also brought in John Feliciano, but Drake Brendel is listed to start. And then left guard Aaron Banks, left tackle Trent Williams. I like both of those guys. Well, of course, I like Trent Williams, but they're locked down. They'll be a very good offense, obviously. Their offensive line is very good, obviously. They're a very good system. Offense, like, schematically hard to stop, like the Philadelphia Eagles. The quarterback may not be spectacular, but, well, it's hard to stop them. Great run game. Their star running back can catch the ball. Receivers can do a lot with the ball in their hands. George Kittle, the same thing. And good offensive line, as I mentioned. So, tough offense to stop. And now the defense, which is, probably even more stacked. You got guys like Drake Jackson, Javon Hargrave, a new pickup. Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa. John Kinlaw's kind of been a bust, but we'll see. He's still going into his third year. Kerry Hyder Jr. I think his fourth year, actually. My apologies. Kerry Hyder Jr. Clinton Farrell's new. So, they're looking pretty good there on the D-line, obviously. As they usually are, stacked. Good starters, good depth. And then linebacker Drake Greenlaw is pretty solid. Fred Warner is, of course, one of the best, maybe the best linebacker in the league. And they also have some other guys, drafted D. Wintersley, Jalen Graham as a UDFA, Robert Real Jr. out of Georgia. Now, usually their secondary is where I would kind of used to rip on and say it was kind of worse than the rest of their defense. But last year they were pretty good. 2021 they were pretty good. Pretty much that 2019 secondary I said was not very good, but now they're a very good secondary and already were for the last couple of years. Ward was a good pickup at corner. Honora is like a good, I think he was a late round pick out of Oregon. They also have some other guys, Ambry Thomas, Isaiah Oliver, they got as safety. Hufanga was a very good, I think he was a Pro Bowl safety last year. Still very good and very young. Deshaun Gibson Jr. Senior they have starting. He was pretty good last year as a starter. He's actually pretty, I thought underrated with the Bears. I thought he was even better than Eddie Jackson his final year with the Bears. But George Odom is there. Jair Brown is I believe a third round pick out of Penn State. He was very productive there. So their secondary is going to be very good. Their defense is going to be very good. Not going to take a genius to figure that out, but their D-line will wreak havoc, will stop the run. Their pass defense is good. Their linebackers can cover. They can hit. They can tackle. They can read plays. They're a very good defense. Very good team. Kyle Shanahan. Now they did lose their defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryan, to the Texans. I forgot who they hired, but they have a lot of talent with them, so that's good for that guy. But Niners, very good team. We're the best in the NFC. One of the best in the league. Could win the whole NFC. I mean, it's not that strong. Again, Seahawks, very good team, but they might be the 5th seed, the best wildcard team. That would be, but, going to be tough to win the division. The Seahawks sure can make a run because you have so much talent, but, we'll see. Niners and Seahawks definitely be a fun team and 2 fun games to watch there between them. The Rams and Cardinals kind of rebuilding teams. The Rams, do they know that they're rebuilding? Maybe not. I mean, they didn't really do much to kind of, build depth, at least in free agency. So maybe they are kind of tanking, relying on younger guys. But the Cardinals are definitely done. They might get the number 1 overall pick. In which case, what are they doing? Marvin Harrison Jr. or are they taking Caleb Williams? So what happens with Kyler Murray? A lot of questions with their future. But anyway, that was my NFC West 2023 standing prediction as well as deep dives into every team. I'm Marto, and thank you for watching.